Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu. And all glories to the assembled Vaishnavi devotees. Devotees, we thank God for being here today. It's the 17th day of November, and it's Monday, a new beginning week. And it is an honor we have His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu who will be sharing with us the Nectarian Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, we encourage the devotees to be very attentive, because surely at the end of the Krishna Katha, we will all be spiritually nourished, as it is the nature of Bhagavatam and Krishna Katha in general. So, Prabhuji, again, we are very, very much thankful that you honored our invitation to be here with us today. Thank you so much. And without further ado, we may put the verse on the screen, and then you take it over from here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sadev Prabhu, for your always kind words and demeanor. So, are you going to put the verse? Okay. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 14, Text 19. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yamahuratmano hyardham Shreyas Kamasya Manini Yasyam Swadhuram Adhyasya Umams Charati Vibhrajaha Vijvaraha. Yam, the waihu, ahu is said, Atmanaha, of the body, he, thus, Ardham, half, Shreyaha, welfare, Kamasya, of all desires, Manini, or respectful one, Yasyam, in whom, Swadhuram, all responsibilities, Adhyasya, entrusting, Uman, a man, Charati, moves, Vijvaraha, without anxiety. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body, because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety and trusting all responsibility to his wife. Purport by Srila Prabhupada by the Vedic injunction, the wife is accepted as the better half of a man's body because she is supposed to be responsible for discharging half of the duties of the husband. A family man has a responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifices called Panchayagya in order to get relief from all kinds of unavoidable sinful reaction incurred in the course of his affairs.
Hare Krishna, Kaunteya Prabhu. I'm sorry. My greatest apologies. As you were reading, I realized that we got the wrong verse. Yes, your verse is supposed to be 20, not 19. Did you check?
Yes.
The display.
Yeah, 3:14:20.
Yes, and this is 19. So I'm sorry, we have to go to 20. Because as you were reading, I realized that we discussed this last week, Friday.
Yes,
well, we had some extra words from Srila Prabhupada. We have a fortune.
Of course, yes. So then we're sorry. We're going to text 20.
Okay. So, Can you put the whole verse? Yes. Yama Shrityendriyadaratin Durjayan Itarashramahi Vayam Jayema Helabhir Dasyan Durga Patiryataha. We can go to the translation directly. So powerful analogy here. As a fort commander very easily conquers invading plunderers, by taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses, which are unconquerable in the other social orders. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Of the four orders of human society, the student or brahmachari order, the householder or grihastha order, the retired or vanaprastha order, and the renounced or sannyasi order, the householder is on the safe side. The bodily senses are considered plunderers of the fort of the body. The wife is supposed to be the commander of the fort, and therefore whenever there is an attack on the body by the senses, it is the wife who protects the body from being smashed. The sex demand is inevitable for everyone, but one who has a fixed wife is safe from the onslaught of the sense enemies. A man who possesses a good wife does not create a disturbance in society by corrupting virgin girls. Without a fixed wife, a man becomes a debauchee of the first order and is a nuisance in society unless he is a trained brahmachari, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Unless there is rigid and systematic training of the brahmachari by the expert spiritual master, and unless the student is obedient, it is sure that the so-called brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. There are so many instances of fall down, even for great yogis like Vishwamitra. A grihastha is saved, however, because of his faithful wife. Sex life is the cause of material bondage, and therefore it is prohibited in 3 ashrams, and is allowed only in the grihastha ashram. The grihastha is responsible for producing first quality brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. Om Agyanativanandasya Gnanjana Sakaya Chaksharumirtamina Tasmai Shri Guruvi Namo Namaha. Namo Shubhadaya Krishna Vistaya Buddhaya Shivadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Dev Gauravani Pacharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatai. So I want to talk about protection. I'm sure you're all familiar with this concept from the Manu Samhita, chapter 9, text 3, that says that a woman should always be protected in her youth, childhood, in a childhood by the father, then in a youth by her husband, and then in the old age by grown-up sons. At the same time, we see here that there is a role reversal. Is actually also the wife who protects the husband in a different way, but it's also a form of protection. Srila Prabhupada used the expression when somebody takes shelter in a wife. Now, it's a fact. Women in general needs protection because they are more vulnerable, both physically and also emotionally. Physically, statistically, they are smaller and weaker, statistically. Of course, in Africa, you have some very big and strong women. They give you a slap, they stick you to the wall. But that's a different thing. Generally, women are weaker. Srila Prabhupada, for instance, once said, A boy, 16-year-old boy, can go around the whole world without any problem. But a woman cannot do that. A girl cannot do that. It's extremely dangerous. She can be kidnapped, sold into slavery, raped, and these things happen because they're weaker, they're more attractive, and also because there are so many bad people around. So let's also remember one thing. When Srila Prabhupada and the Shastras say women should be protected from whom? From men. So in other words, the injunction is men should protect women from other men. It's not just an abstract protection. As I said, physically they're weaker, and also emotionally they're more vulnerable because they look for relation, they look for romance. Sometimes they get exploited. And for a woman to be exploited means that then she becomes, like Srila Prabhupada explained, she becomes pregnant, and then what? Either she has to beg the government or some charitable house, or she kills the child, which is a horrible sin. So that vulnerability needs protection. If a woman lives with her husband and has children, then she can be happier than just always looking for a new man and not able to experience her desire for motherhood and so on. So let's shift. Now, this verse is important because it kind of balances this idea. Also, men need protection, not only women, and especially men need protection from themselves. While women need protection from men generally need protection from themselves. Srila Prabhupada used these very strong words here. He says that Hari. I had opened a file that I'm not seeing now. Okay, let me open it again. Sorry for the delay. Okay, here we go. So Srila Prabhupada used these very strong words. Without a fixed wife, a man becomes a debauchee of the first order and is a nuisance in society unless he's a trained brahmachari, vanaprastha, sannyasi. So we can understand that there are basically three types of men. Three types. One, a genuine renunciant. Somebody that, at least for a period of their life, they live a brahmachari life, they control their senses, there is no sex life, and for at least for a period of their life, they're serious, they serve the spiritual master, they live an austere life of service, dedication, they do their sadhana. There are some who are also naturally sannyasis. So one is we could say, natural or trained renunciants. That's one category of men, and we respect them. I'm not like that. So I need to honor and respect them. I couldn't take sannyas like some devotees did in their 20s and their 30s, and they stay sannyasis. Of course, we know sometimes sannyasis also have problems. Sometimes even in their old age, there is some deviation, some fall down. This is very sad, but it's part of life, meaning we need to understand there is always some degree of danger, risk, vulnerability. Anyway, first category, a good renunciation, brahmachari, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Number two, what Srila Prabhupada discussed also, a nonsense, a crook, dangerous, a person who is irresponsible, unethical, and this is the type of persons that women should be protected from because they are exploitative, because they are sometimes even sociopaths. They just don't care and they just want to enjoy their life, their senses. For them, the woman is only an instrument for their pleasure. They objectify individuals, especially in the of the woman type. So this is the type of this is the second type of men, irresponsible enjoyers. They may be very rough or very sophisticated. They may even have a private jet. They may always dress very slickly, very elegantly. That's all external. But in the mind, they are voracious exploiters. They are egoistic. They're selfish. They don't take responsibility. When they think of a woman, they think of a woman to enjoy their body. That's all. They don't think, oh, I'll give her a house, I'll give her children, I'll stay with her 30, 40 years for the rest of our life. No. Then there is the third type. The third type is a man who, in realism and humility, get protected by a woman. Srila Prabhupada, in the summary of the first chapter of 5th canto, says, family life is compared to a fortress for practicing sense control. A fortress. And here, we just read today, the wife is supposed to be the commander of the fort. So, again, very good renunciants. They don't need the woman, probably because they had a lot of good affection from the mother, so they're not looking for that affection outside what they already got. Second, nonsense men, very dangerous, very deleterious to society. They commit adultery, they corrupt young girls, and so on. And third is the gentleman who is married, stay in marriage, and takes, as Srila Prabhupada said, takes shelter in a wife, meaning psychologically accept this is my wife, this is my companion, and that's it. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else. Okay. So these are the three types of men. Now, we need to remember that we start our life, everybody starts this life by being protected by a woman. First of all, 9 months in the womb. We are there, we completely depend on the body of our mother. She carries us physically around, and in the last few months, it's not a joke, because having this huge womb, not only the weight, but the organs get pushed, gets pressurized. Anyway, it's an austerity. And so our mothers accepted that for us, so we should be grateful. Then when we came out, who gave us food? Who gave us milk? Again, the mother, right? Then, and sometimes that not only for the milk from the body, but even the cooking. Generally, it's the mother who cooks for the family. It's the mother who takes care of the children when they're sick. I don't know what's your experience, but generally children, when they are, say, afraid of the dark or afraid of monsters under the bed, they go to the mother because the mother is the nurturing aspect of the family. They know that the mother is more generous, more kind, more compassionate, more sweet. So naturally, children take shelter in their mothers. Then, who gave us the clothes in the morning, or even physically put us the clothes when we are 1 year old, 2 year old? Then, who toilet trained us? In most cases, the mother was not the father. The father was doing his duty at work, but who toilet trained us how to use the toilet, how to clean ourselves, who changed our diapers mostly is the mother. Then, I mean, I can go on and on and on. Okay, make sure we go to school on time, that we have breakfast, that we have a tiffin, what they call in India tiffin. We have something to eat, a school. So, and also affectionately, the mother gave us, generally, the mother gave us more love. She spent more time with us, and she was more loving because she was motherly. Father often was more of a disciplining feature. I'm not obviously minimizing the figure of the father, but for years, mother was our direct authority, our direct teacher, and everything. That's why the Vedas say mother is more respectful than the father. Okay, so there are also studies, these are secular studies, that shows that married men live better and live longer. I read for you. For instance, I'm reading. This is a study. Now they do study in America with thousands of people. The married men and married women live on average 2 years longer than their unmarried counterparts. So 2 years, just by living with a woman, we live on average 2 years longer. That's more than 700 days. One reason for this longevity benefit is the influence of marital partner on healthy behaviors. Study after study shows that married people eat better and are less likely to smoke and drink excessively. However, now listen to this. Men married to women tend to see additional longevity benefits than women married to men. In other words, a man gets more benefit to be married than a woman gets a benefit to be married, at least in terms of longevity, how many years he or she will live. So this is important because it's very practical. See, when one is not married, it's easy to have bad habits. You don't have anybody at home, so you go to pubs, you go to bars, you hang around, you try to hook up with somebody, you drink, you smoke. But when you're at home, you're responsible. You have a job. Next morning, just a second. Shirade, can you see the door? Shirade? Shirade, can you see the door, please?
Prabhuji, you got muted. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Where did you lose me? Where do I lost you?
No, you were asking the door to be closed.
Okay. So anyway, I was saying it's very practical benefit. So When you are not married, it's very easy to be unregulated. You eat whenever you like, you eat maybe junk food, but when you eat at home, you eat something better. The wife prepared, it's hot. Uh, she won't cook junk food. She will cook something uh, more reasonable, more healthy, more normal, and the whole life become more regulated. You don't stay out all night. You go to work in the morning more fresh. So just these are studies. These are not religious beliefs. 2 years more if you're married, you live on average. I read another study, a major survey of more than 127,000 Americans. So this is a major survey, 127,000 Americans, not just a few interviews in the street. A study of American adults found that married men are healthier than men who were never married or whose marriages ended in divorce or widowhood. So those who are married, they live with a woman, they're actually healthier. The longer a man stays married, the greatest is survival advantage over his unmarried peers. And from the same article, a 2009 study reported that men married to more educated women also enjoyed a lower death rate than men married to less educated women. So it's good for you to marry to an intelligent, educated woman, somebody who has somewhat study, formal study or devotional study. I'm not talking about that, but somebody educated, no? Because she can use the brain and she can offer better protection, better advice, better companionship, like that. Sometimes we hear in the community of devotees, some people say, no, women should not go to school, women should remain very simple, maybe even literate or something. But studies don't support that. And also, the idea that women should be protected by the father, what does it mean? In traditional societies where people were more responsible, the village were more tight, everybody knew each other. So for the father to marry his daughter very young, that would have fulfilled the need for protection. Because the daughter will join a large family, she will be protected, she will be engaged. But nowadays it's quite different. First of all, these large families, extended families, are often not there anymore. A young girl goes to some house, all day she will be alone, she'll just watch movies or watch the internet, social media, Instagram. She'll be often very lost. Second, what does it mean to protect your daughter? Are you sure that the husband will be responsible, will live longer? In India, for instance, there are armies, millions and millions and millions of widows. Some of them are very young. So sometimes, and I'm not saying a universal fashion, depends on the context, but sometimes the best protection a man can give to his daughter is to make her study, learn skills so she can be self-sufficient. She doesn't have to be completely dependent on somebody. We don't know. She will find the right man. Will the right man leave her? The right man will not leave her. Will the man she marries, maybe he leaves her? So what's her alternative? Going back in the street or become a prostitute, like often happens in India? So these are very vast discussions sociologically, but I'm very happy that somehow I got this verse because I I did some reflection on the theme. I wrote on these topics, and it's good to have the balance, because sometimes when we focus only on one type of quote, I'm not saying those quotes are not valid, but if sometimes we focus only on one type of quotes, our understanding becomes unbalanced. Okay, so thank you for your patience. Now, these are some considerations of this verse. If anybody wants to share some comments, reflections, experience in their life, maybe with their mothers, wives, or even questions.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, thank you so much. It's very interesting we're discussing these topics. And of course, we're discussing these topics because that is what the text is saying. And we're trying to follow what the text is saying. But it's been very interesting and very educating the last few days to weeks, how we are all learning the intricacies and the both the spiritual and material benefits of being a married person, especially in the service of Shri Guru and Krishna. So thank you so much for this deliberation today. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations, you may want to ask or share, please indicate as usual using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. Hare Krishna. See, Prabhuji, without mentioning names, I actually wrote last week, I think last week, Saturday, I wrote one short article about women, and I shared on a few different platforms. But there was a time that one guru in ISKCON, who is in a very good standing, shared something, and I came across this on YouTube. And this guru had visited IFAST in Washington, D.C. And when he was entering into the temple, according to him, he heard a woman's voice chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he immediately turned away. He did not enter into the temple room.
He was, who was this? Not the name, but was he a sannyasi, what you said?
A guru.
A guru.
Initiating guru, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And he turned away because, according to him, there is no way he can ever sit down to listen to a woman speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, when we have a good standing guru in our illustrious movement, ISKCON, established by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, have such, I'm trying to be careful, excuse me, but has such a very strong dislike to women simply trying to serve Guru and Krishna in that manner. And lots of people are looking up to this particular individual because he's an initiating guru and he's in good standing order. How does that disrupt the system that was set up by Srila Prabhupada himself? And how do devotees guard against such improper attitude towards women? Because to me, Srila Prabhupada trained all the motives, whether you are a boy, you are a girl, to do everything everybody else does. He did not train women separately and men separately. He trained us all together the same way. So if now just speaking Bhagavatam is forbidden for women and is coming from a high person, then what do we do?
Yeah, see, in many ways, we're still a young movement, fortunately. So we are still negotiating these issues. It's a fact. Sometimes it's just insecurity on the part of men. They're so disturbed by the presence of women that they can't listen to a woman speaking the Bhagavatam. Although, of course, I expect women Nanda Vyasa to be covered completely meaning not the face, but I'd say not in any provocative dress. I remember once we were with my wife in Zagreb, the capital of Croatia in Europe, and then I gave class. Then one day she gave class, and there were 3 or 4 brahmacharis in the temple, living in the temple, and then they show up. They just didn't come for the class. And the last thing I heard recently about that temple is now that the temple is closing down, they're thinking of selling it, because first there were women in the temple, living in the temple, they send them out. Now it's basically it's all disaster. Now I don't want to imply a causative reason that because of that now they're closing down, but certainly it wasn't a healthy situation. Now you have an Indian, my wife is Indian, you respectfully call mother when you speak with her, and she's Indian, South Indian, we're sari and everything. So what would be the cause of agitation if you hear for half an hour speaking about Krishna, singing some Krishna song? This is nothing new. Srila Prabhupada, for instance, some people complain, oh, there are women in the temple, brahmacharya disturbed when they change japa. Srila Prabhupada said, then let this brahmachari go in the forest. You see so many women in the street. You just get out of the temple, you see so many women in the street, living women. You see women in the advertisements. So it's like, okay, if you're so disturbed, go into the forest. There was also a controversy at one point. Devotees started playing this Govinda Madhipurusha, a Darshanartik by Yamuna Devi, and somebody complained to Srila Prabhupada and said, oh, how can we listen to a woman singing every day? Srila Prabhupada said that, look, this is kirtan, this is glorification of the Lord. Not only that, he ordered that all over the world, that particular record, Govinda Madhipurusham Tamaham Bhajami, that record should be played. In fact, we see nowadays all over the world, wherever you go, that record is played for darshan, 7 o'clock, 7:30 darshan. So Srila Prabhupada had to face this. I would say, yes, there is a lot of insecurity. Sometimes it's a lot of information. People don't really know what Srila Prabhupada said, because sometimes Srila Prabhupada said things in letters. I'll give you an example. There is some letters. This is from 68, so this is from the beginning. So Srila Prabhupada was saying, so far as girls or boys lecture in the morning, that does not make any difference. Either girl or boy devotees may deliver lecture if they choose to do so. We have no such distinction of bodily designations, male or female. So in other words, the topic already came. This is 68. It's a letter to Shyamadasi. Then this is a letter to Jai Govinda, men. Regarding lecturing by women devotees, I have informed you that in the service of the Lord there is no distinction of caste or creed, color, or sex. If a woman can lecture nicely and to the point, we should hear her carefully. And then later he says, we want so many preachers, both men and women. This is also from 1968, but even earlier in February, like that. So these things already came up, and Srila Prabhupada addressed them. There are certain things that Srila Prabhupada did not address because nobody asked those questions, or because the technology wasn't there. So he never answered, so we got to have to figure out. But these things already was discussed, already was questioned, and already were answered. Somehow, some devotees are not trained in the history or in the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And again, sometimes they're very insecure in their sense control. They're disturbed. If I see a woman sitting on a vyasa, nicely dressed, nicely means very modestly, very chastely dressed, they feel somewhat, they cannot hear. It's very sad. It's very sad. For me, it's like, I don't even feel angry in one sense. I just feel sad for this man. You are supposed to see women as mothers, so you can't listen to your mother. If your mother talks to you, you say, no, I cannot look at you. You're a woman, you're Maya. It's like, of course, we should be careful and everything, but we're talking philosophy, we're talking theology, we're talking Krishna Katha. So it's very sad. It's very sad. It's very sad also for the Sankirtan movement, because both men and women, many people, when they see something like this, they feel, well, this is not a movement for me. This is not. How can I live in this movement? How can I take shelter in this movement? They say it's a spiritual movement, but then they, they can't even listen philosophy from a woman. So this is like the Taliban. The Taliban in Afghanistan, when they took over again after the Americans left, they stopped women from going to school, from going to university. But who wants to go to Afghanistan? I mean, you ever heard anybody who say, oh, I would really love to go and live in Afghanistan? No. So it's sad for the people involved. It's sad for the women who become disrespected, which is a serious thing. And it's sad for the movement because we become so strange. The people look at us and say, yeah, I mean, they may be nice, they have good prasadam, but how can I live in this situation? It's completely crazy. So what to do? Your question is specifically what to do. We need more training. We need, especially you are saying this is a guru, needs more standard training. The guru should go to all these questions, understand, dialogue. Again, we are still a young movement. There is not much systematic training for gurus. And by training, I don't only mean book knowledge. Okay, this is a book, you do an exam, you pass. More like dialogue, becoming mature, how to deal in different situations, how to, knowing what Srila Prabhupada said. Can women lecture? Of course. Of course. So I don't know if this helps, but it's a very sad situation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, it helps. It helps a lot. But the follow-up question then is, in scriptures, as well as in ISKCON, the advice is that one follows the instructions of the Guru.
Mm.
But I also understand that even though the Guru is the head, is the master, is the direct representative of the Supreme Lord, the disciple, the student, also is supposed to ask intelligent questions.
Of course.
Whereas there are some devotees who also contend that as long as the Guru has made a statement, it is concrete. Do not ask questions. Do not try to want to change what the Guru is saying. But to me, our system, particularly as ISKCON devotees, is that of Q&A, questions and answers. Maharaj Parikshit asked questions to Shukadev. Shunakaji asked questions to Sutta Goswami. Brahma Tirtha asked so many questions to Srila Prabhupada. And we see so many places, so many people ask questions to Srila Prabhupada. And it does not mean that they did not believe or accept what Srila Prabhupada was saying, but we are all intelligent beings. And in order for us to do things continually or eternally, we try to understand why we need to do that. But here is the point that when someone humbly, respectfully asks questions, he is still deemed as rude, disrespectful, arrogant. So in such a situation, especially if you are in the midst of devotees who feel that way, what do you do as a devotee amongst other devotees who feel that as long as the Guru or the authority has made a pronouncement, just follow it?
Okay, you see, the Guru represents Krishna when he speaks the words of Krishna. The Guru represents the Sampradaya when represents the words of the Acharyas. It's not that any opinion or anything that crosses the mind of the Guru is absolute. See, what is a Guru? Sometimes we have a mythological idea of a Guru. I mean, many of you are senior devotees, 20, 30, 40 years in the movement, more maybe. I don't know who is attending today. And many of you already function as gurus. You instruct younger devotees, you know the philosophy, you teach, and so on. What's the big difference between you and another devotee who may have the same seniority or maybe 5, 6 years more? That guru does the same thing, meaning he teaches, he preaches, and so on. But at the end, he also gives a japa, he also gives a name. Because he has been through whatever, some check or, there's a group of devotees that wanted him as initiating guru. But what's the difference? Ontologically, he's a jiva, you are a jiva. He is a senior devotee, you are a senior devotee. He knows the philosophy, you know the philosophy. He did so much service, you did so much service. He answered questions, you answer questions. So we're not talking about a different being, a different tattva, like Vishnu tattva or Shiva tattva. We're talking about a devotee like you, who is being around a few decades, has shown that, is a serious devotee. And somehow, now he also gives a japa and he also gives a name, which obviously many of you could do also. I mean, I don't know all of you, I'm talking in general, but certainly giving a japa and a name is, in itself is not an extraordinary thing. So he's a guru, you're not, maybe. But for me, when I talk with you, when I talk with him, for me, I may not see much difference. I'm talking in general, of course. See, guru is like a professor. There are so many levels of professors. There are universities in America, for instance, that their professors are Nobel Prizes. They wrote so many 100 books on particular subject, history or chemistry or geography, whatever. But they are really super expert in their field. In fact, they have tenure. Tenure means the university guaranteed that they will always take care of them for the rest of their life. And so those are special professors. But then there are professors who are less experienced. They didn't win any Nobel Prize. They didn't write many books. Then there are professors who are also younger. Maybe this is the first year they're professors, but they're all professors. So there is a general category of professors they teach to younger students. So gurus, there is a variety of gurus. It's not like when you cross into guruhood, you go into a fourth dimension automatically. Like even for the disciples, yes, he's a guru to respect because he represents Krishna, of course. At the same time, he's still a devotee. I remember once a very senior Vaishnava, he was saying, it was a kind of a quick question and answer, so he did not elaborate, not because he couldn't, but just a quick. Somebody said, who is the guru? He said, it's a good devotee who helps you being a good devotee. But it doesn't mean that the guru is a good devotee, but it doesn't mean that, he has complete, we could say, understanding or complete emotional clarity or steadiness, is complete maturity or complete security or complete anything. He's doing a job, he's doing his best as he can, as we all do, right? I mean, I don't know all of you, but I'm sure you're all trying your best. And he's also trying his best. We don't always get things right. Sometimes we're under pressure. We are not even so nice, or we don't behave in the best way. Like right now, I'm in an Ayurvedic clinic in South India, and that's why also I'm not shaved, because for certain treatments they say you shouldn't shave, you're losing a lot of energy. So keep. And 2 days ago, I underwent a treatment, a kind of type of fasting, whatever, and I was really weak, and I could see that my reaction with other people would be I was a bit hypersensitive. Now, last 2 days, I'm eating kind of normally, still a diet, very strict diet, but quite though I eating normally, and for me, it's much easier to deal with people in a more, we could say, a normal way, gentle way, thoughtful way. So sometimes we mythologize what's a guru, and so we expect more than what maybe they could. It's like if I become a guru, say, I'm just saying hypothetically, tomorrow, I can accept disciples. And so I can give names. Your name is such and such, this is your japa, go. But basically, I'm the same person, right? Not only the same person, but now I have many more problems. more problem in the sense that I don't have only to take care of my mind, I have to take care of also other people's minds, and I have other social problems. Mahatma Prabhu, whom I'm sure you know, Mahatma Prabhu wrote one list, 108 things that happen when you become a guru. And then he reflected more, he wrote another list, another 108 things that happens when you become a guru. So how your aspiring disciple deal with you, how your disciple deal with you, how your good brothers deal with you, how other disciple of other gurus deal with you. So you have to kind of re-register everything. So sometimes these things are difficult. So these are difficult. Sometimes we get glorified. I'm not saying the guru should not be glorified, but sometimes we get glorified. Sometimes we can absorb that and offer. This is actually the glory goes to my guru, go to the parampara, all the way to Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. And sometimes we may become a little proud, puffed up, or we may believe. We may believe when people say you have lotus feet. I look at my feet. Yeah, actually, yeah, they are lotus feet. So I'm not trying to really, I'm not trying to diminish the guru, but every Vaishnava is sacred. Every Vaishnava represents the Lord. It's not that you are practicing 35, 40 years and now you are not representing the Lord. And then you can give the japa and the name, and now you become representative of the Lord. It doesn't work like that. Many of you are already working as guru, at least Shiksha Guru. No, you teach people, younger people, you teach, you give advice, you preach, you give lectures, you talk about the scripture, you talk about Srila Prabhupada, you talk about Krishna consciousness. And you may be better in certain area than many other gurus. Gurus who give a name in the japa, because maybe you are more mature, maybe you are more experienced, maybe you are more emotionally solid, maybe you're more intelligent. So I'm talking like this because I know that some of you are senior. You demonstrated you want to be in Krishna consciousness. You heard so many things. You've seen so many things. You stayed in the moment. You stayed serving your guru. You're serving Srila Prabhupada, serving the mission. And sometimes we might have walked in shadow. Sometimes we have been walked in full sunlight. We kept walking. Just like Winston Churchill said, when you go through hell, keep going. So you maybe some of you have gone through hell in some case, but you kept going, and you're here today. You're chanting Hare Krishna, you're chanting the holy name, so you have a lot of experience to share. And some guru who now today is giving japa name, maybe doesn't have your experience, doesn't have your, or is having a bad day. It's not because now you give a japa and a name, you cannot have a bad day. And bad day doesn't mean, okay, you're lost. Bad day means you're not your best on your best game.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this deliberation and elaboration of the question. Dear devotees, if anyone else has a question, comments, reflections, and please remember, our revered speaker is speaking from India, so his time is quite late. So if we have questions, we should let them come now. Hare Krishna.
Okay,
Hare
so
Krishna.
there's nothing. So I hope because you don't disagree with me.
No, we don't. Particularly myself, I don't. And well, okay, it seems Madhavan has his hand raised. Madhavan, probably yes, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam. All grace, and celebrity. Thank you very much for today's lecture. It's so much educating. Just not to take your time too much, I just wanted to brief us. We're in Africa here. We're in Africa.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
I'm hearing.
Okay. So right here in Africa, we practice, many people practice polygamy, more than one wife. So I just want you to give us a little brief about someone having one wife.
Prabhupada say taking shelter in one wife, you can take shelter of more than one wife. Great. You see, I actually 40% so 40% of the countries in the world allow polygamy. So, some Western country, they have their own conditioning. They think, oh, one man, one woman, like that. But it's kind of natural in the history of the world that the man, if he can meaning economically, physically, emotionally, means as a mature person can give shelter to more women. Srila Prabhupada spoke about this. So in principle, there is nothing wrong. There's just nothing wrong. At the same time, of course, one has to see different considerations. Are you taking a burden that you cannot manage, or what's your motivation? You just want to enjoy more women because your first wife now is 40. You want a woman who is 20. That's not, we could say, spectacularly spiritual, right? It's just looking for fresh meat, fresh flesh. It's not really. But, if you have enough, I heard the Shia Prabhupada also said you need to have a house, an apartment for each wife. You can't just put 7 wives in one room. Either they'll kill each other. I'm just saying there are so many considerations. So it's a difficult thing, but some men can manage. So if a man can manage, I don't see the problem. In principle, I repeat, in principle. Then it has to see the application. If you have more than one wife, but they all starve, the wife starve, you starve, the children starve. So then what are you doing? Or if you cannot give attention, if you cannot give the same, we could say, affection, you cannot be, we could say, equipoised. These are all your wives. You need to care either 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. But you need to take care of them also emotionally. You can't just say, oh, okay, you don't speak with you, I like more her. No, you need to be very, almost like a temple president, right? The temple president has to be somewhat equipoised. Of course, a temple president will like a devotee more than another devotee, but he has to be somewhat equipoised, somewhat neutral, somewhat impartial. So, if you are a strong man, a reasonably wealthy man, I don't see the problem. But obviously, spiritually speaking, it may also be a great distraction. But, in principle, there is nothing wrong, socially speaking, ethically speaking. So,
yeah. Thank you. Madam Prabhu, did you get the answer? The response?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm satisfied.
Okay,
I'm happy
good.
with the direction.
Yeah. See, thank you for asking this question, because I remember some time ago in Ghana, I had a radio program, and the topic was polygamy. And it was an interfaith. It was Hare Krishna and Christian. So there were 2 Christians against me, and they were all condemning polygamy. And I was saying that polygamy is not condemned by God. It is how you go about it that makes it either sinful or not sinful. But the sad part of this program I had was during the call-ins, so many people called in to criticize me, criticize Hare Krishna. And so when I came back to the temple, my temple authorities plus all the devotees, they all condemned me for speaking that way. And luckily for me, a day or two after that, His Holiness Bhaktivinoda visited Ghana from Nigeria. Of course, at that time, he was a brahmachari. So I asked him this question that, Prabhuji, this is the program I had, and this was my response. And so he asked me, is that your response, that we did not condemn it? I said, yeah. He says, that was good. So it kind of motivated me, because sometimes as fledgling devotees, you look up to your authorities, and if you say or do something and they kind of condemn you, you feel demoralized. But within me, I felt that what I said was the right thing. And so, luckily for me, His Holiness visited 2 or 3 days after the program, and I asked him this question, and he said, yes, that is how you speak. We do not condemn it. We do not encourage it, but we do not condemn it. We do not encourage it because it is not so easy for many people to do it. But if one can do it, know what it entails, and when you're ready, you go in for it. So thank you for the same trend of answer I received from His Holiness Bhaktivinoda, because that is my understanding. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, I like that. I like that mantra. We do not condemn it. We do not recommend it. At least not recommend it, casually or absolutely. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Hamsadita Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Please can you accept my personal obeisances? All glory to Gurudev, all glory to Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada, and all glory to Wonderful and with devotees. I've been listening to it quietly, and it's very, very, very amazing, and a lot has been digested. I want to make a small contribution about the polygamy marriage. Most of the time, if you come to Africa, most of the Muslims who normally marry 4 wives, and sometimes they explain it like it's normal something, but it is not at all, because there's a lot of rules. Even in the Quran, Krishna said that because of their wives, they will go to hell.
Sorry, because of your wife, you go to hell.
Yes. Yes, because how you treat your wife. Because this polygamy marriage, the rules abide it. If you are not ready, you don't have to do it. Because before you have a wife and want to marry another wife, you have to speak to the first wife for her to agree before you can get a second wife. And it is like that because some people get married and beginning to have affairs outside their marriage. That is why this second marriage, third marriage came in, up to 4. But if you marry them, you have to make sure that you treat them equally. Even in intimacy, you have to treat them equally. If you buy something for this one, you have to buy the same thing for the other ones. The only difference is that when it comes to you are somebody who's going to take your position is the first son of your first wife. That is what can never change. That maybe the second wife sign would become the head of the family. But even the affection has to be the same. And this is very, very, very difficult to do. It's very, 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 very difficult to do. But people just interpreted that, oh, you can get married to 4 wives, you can get married to 3 wives. But it's not like that. There's a lot of rules about it.
I mean, one should not marry even 1 wife if he's not ready.
Yes, but people do it. People do it, and I will say that, oh, Islam said that you can marry a 2nd wife. Oh, Islam said that you can marry 3rd wife, and it becomes something which is normal, but this is not normal as it is in Islam. You have to make sure that you treat them all equally. You have to love them the same. And how can you do that? So in other way, Krishna is telling you not to do it, but if you want to do it, this is how you have to do it. So people are taking advantage of that, oh, I can marry 4 wives, but it's not so easy like that. This is what I wanted to.
Thank you.
Because somebody don't have a job, and you are even struggling, and you go and take another wife. How can you take care of them? And it's going on in our society, which is not so good. But they will use the scripture that, oh, Krishna said that you can marry 4 wives, but this is not how it is. So this is something I want to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Good point. Yeah. It's like, this is a different thing, but it's a similar principle. Sometimes there are people who have a lot of psychological problems or addiction, they're drunkards, they're addicted to alcohol or drugs. So they have a rehab. They go for rehab. And then they say, I mean, certain methods. First of all, before you even have a relation, like say with a woman, you start with a plant. You cannot even have a dog. You start with a plant. You have a little plant, a little flower at home. You put water, you see that it doesn't die. Then after some time, if it doesn't die, then you can have, say, a cat or a rabbit or a dog. And then you have to take care of the dog because dogs need attention. You need to make sure that they go to the toilet, make sure that they eat, right? So if the dog after a few months is still alive, then you can start thinking of maybe start associating with some woman or some man like that. So I mean, it's a different thing, but it's the same principle. It takes to take care of somebody else, to live with somebody else, it takes some qualification. Otherwise, you burn them, just like a plant. It takes some qualification even if to keep a plant alive. Many people can't. Many people are so disturbed and distracted that they can't even keep a plant alive. So you want to speak of another human being. I would speak of 2 human beings, 3, 4. Yes, it's a big responsibility.
Yes, I'm very sorry if I was speaking very fast because I was going somewhere and I was about to reach, so I was speaking so fast. So I'm very sorry for that.
I could clear.
Well, His Grace KAUNTEYA Prabhu, thank you so much. And Hamsadita Prabhu, thank you for your remark. I am sorry to say that I disagree with your position, Hamsadita Prabhu. I disagree with your position. About 90% of what you shared, I disagree with them all. That does not mean that what I am saying is the final right thing to be done. But it is true that one does not have to use the scripture in vain to take advantage of people. But that does not also mean that it is impossible for a man to have more than 1 wife. It's difficult just to have one. It's difficult just to take care of oneself, even without a partner. So yes, the difficulty is there. Nobody is denying that. But the mere fact that it's just like the radio program I had, the host asked me, Sahadev, you are saying you can marry more than one. Are you married? I said, yes. He says, how many wives do you have? I said, one. And says, look at you. You're saying you can have more than one, but you have one. I said, don't use me as the parameter. This is what I can do. It does not mean that that is what everybody else can. So if I can handle just one, and I'm trying my best to handle that, and somebody has the capability to handle more than one, why do you deny him? So Hamza saying it's impossible. It's not true.
My sense is that he might have said impossible in the sense that it's very difficult to literally love each person the same way. But maybe just slip of the tongue, he said impossible. Probably meant very difficult.
Please, can I say something?
Hold on a minute, please. And at the same time, when you said when you buy something for this wife, you should buy the same thing for the other wife. It doesn't work like that. The wives are individuals. They all have their taste. So if I have two wives, I have three wives, and I bought diamond earring for one, you expect me to buy diamond earrings for the other two? When they do not want diamond earring, maybe they want a different gem. It's a matter of satisfying all the wives you have and making sure that they are properly protected and taken care of.
Your Grace, can I explain a little bit?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I did not say that it's impossible. People do it, but I was just trying to say that it's not so simple as people say. And at the same time, when I said that you have to buy the same thing for each of them, I'm not trying to say that it has to be like if you are buying something for this one, a jewel, and this one don't want a jewel, so you have to buy for the person. But somebody can develop so affection for one and he buying something secretly for the person. And at the same time, maybe everybody wants a jewel, but he will choose the one he loves and give that jewel to. That's what I was trying to say. Not that maybe if this one wants jewel and this one doesn't want it, then you still have to buy the same thing for them. If the other one don't want it, then you don't have to buy for the person. But if you become so attached to the other ones and they need the same thing, but you are buying for the one and you are not giving to the other one, that is, I think I did not explain more better of that because, like I said, I'm working, so I was speaking a little bit fast.
I think we can all agree on the principle.
Hare Krishna.
I hope we can all agree on the principle that both in Vaishnavism and in Islam and in many cultures of the world, the idea is acceptable. At the same time, of course, there are some rules, and of course, it's also difficult. It takes responsibility, takes qualification, takes capacity. So, I hope we can agree on the general principle. Also, women need qualification, meaning some women, for them, will be I would say they are not ready. They never thought of that they could have a man share with another woman. For them, it's like, what? So it takes qualification for all of them. If somebody just grew up watching a Hollywood movie, there's always a hero and a heroine. They think, no, if you get a man, that's your man. Finish. You can't share it. It's like unimaginable. So it needs qualification for the men, it needs qualification for the women, like that, because they understand. They don't have to. I will I will have to share my husband in more than one way. I will not get all his attention, all his time. But it's difficult even in Vedic society. I mean, you see the story of Dhruva Maharaj, this King Uttanapada, great personality. He had Suruchi and Suniti as wives, but he had a problem in being impartial. In fact, Dhruva became very, very angry because he wanted to sit on the lap of the father, but the other co-wife said, "No, no, you're not my son. You cannot sit on with your father." The whole thing started from there, right? Even you see this Chitraketu Maharaj. He had 10 million wives, which is more than 4. Uh, and then finally, nobody could have a child. One wife could have a child, and the others became so envious that they poisoned the child. They killed the child. So in Sanskrit, there is a word for co-wife, which is the same word as enemy. So even if it's Vedic, the Vedas or the Srimad Bhagavatam accept the concept, but even the Vedas say be careful because it's not so easy. It needs qualification for everybody involved.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, it's possible, but it's not easy. That is well established. Now, if I may ask this question from the text itself.
Acha.
Yeah, the text say that as a fourth commander very easily conquers invading plunderers. By taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses. In other words, the wife is hereby considered to be a fourth commander. Now, how does the wife help conquer the senses of the husband? And how does the husband permit the wife to help conquer his mind?
Conquer his mind? Sorry, what?
Yes, to conquer his mind and senses so that the unwanted desires and thoughts will not invade his consciousness.
See, the idea is this. The mind is flickering, chanchalam. And the senses, we know, is like snakes. Sharira avidya. Sharira avidya. It's not time for prashada, at least not for me. But Sharira avidya jal. The Sharira, the body, is like a avidya jal. Jal means net, and avidya means ignorance. So Sarira avidya jal, jitendriya taikal, jive pele visheshagari. So they say now the senses bring to death. So if we lead, it's like the horses, right? If you don't control the horses will bring you into a ditch. You may die. So that for a man, the man has senses, okay? For eating, you need some good food, the stomach. Most people need sexual satisfaction. But if one is doing that in a civilized way, okay, he eats at home, the wives cook, then they have children together, and so on. So that's protected, is within dharma. It may not be always pure devotional service, it's not always Krishna prema, but at least is within dharma. So if you are within dharma, then we are protected. So this is the role. The wife is protecting the husband is protecting the wife. It's a partnership. Now the roles may be different. Like generally in traditional society, the wife stays at home. So she controls the household. And the husband goes outside and works and fights with the world. And then gets the money and brings it to the wife. And the wife manages the household. So it's a partnership. It's almost like an enterprise economically, but also dharmically. Then they have children, they take care of the children. So gradually they become emotionally mature. Gradually, they become less sexually attracted because they get married 20, but 30, 40, 50. Then naturally, ideally, they should shift. Instead of being lovers, especially carnal lovers, they become friends. They become companionship. They live together. They start to intertwine each other. Their karma gets united. And if they are supported by dharma, meaning the sense of duty, this is my wife, this is for this lifetime, this is the woman. And the wife thinks this is the man. May not be the best man, they may not be the best woman, but for this life, this is what God gave me, and I stick to them. So that's dharma. That's dharma. It may not be spectacular. Maybe it's Haridas Thakur chanting under 93 rounds, but it may not be Radhanath Swami who goes in India and lives on the Ganga chanting, I don't know how many rounds a day. It may not be so spectacular, but that's the dharma, and that's in that context, the person controls the senses, controls the mind, because it has subdued his animal instincts. So in this way, they help each other, they protect each other. The husband knows I have to go home. Say, no, I finish working, I go home. Where should I go? I go home. I like to play with my children. I have a meal at home, huh? And the wife, similarly, I have this man. He brings some money. He may not be the richest man in the world, but he brings enough, hopefully. And he's giving me children. He's giving me a house, and I serve him. He has a male ego, so I need to be a little careful. Also, he has been fighting all day outside, so I need to be patient with him because he's under stress. And he also has to be a little bit patient with me when I speak about my problems. So, look, everything is temporary. But we have this body, and this body is just not a lump of flesh. This body is full of drives. So those drives have to be negotiated. And the Grihastha ashram is the natural place to negotiate those drives. You can have some, for instance, you want to eat a particular thing, you are Grihastha, okay, you eat what you like. Within limits, of course, for devotees, meaning no meat, fish, or eggs, you offer everything. But you want to eat something. If you live as a brahmachari, you cannot just choose, I want to eat this. No, whatever the temple cooks, you eat. So little privacy, little, you want to have a bank account. Yeah, there are this license. But license is like a driving license. Driving license allows you to drive a car, but doesn't mean that you can drive the car irresponsible. It doesn't mean that, I have a driving license, so I can park anywhere. I have a driving license, I can go 200 kilometers per hour. So I have a driving license, so I don't need an insurance. No, you have a driving license means it gives you access to certain activities you cannot have without a driving license. But still, those activities are regulated by the traffic rule, regulated by the government, and so on. So, yes, it's necessary. For most people, it's necessary. This is the default setting for human beings. You grow up, you get married. And one of the main things to remember, that spouse, either your husband or your wife, you should not expect them to make you happy. That's not their job. Their job is to keep you steady, to keep you honest, to keep you on track, to keep you civilized. Then for happiness, you need to say Hare Krishna. Often the problem is that people have too much expectation from the from the
Thousands.
yeah, they're human beings, you know. They're human beings with their weaknesses, like we have weakness. Our spouse will also have their weakness. So,
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. There is one saying I came across some time ago, which I like so much. It says, do not expect to be happy by getting married if you are not already happy within yourself.
yes.
So,
Yeah, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj wrote, I don't remember which book. I'm not sure if it's Spiritual Warrior, I don't remember, but he wrote that they should be very careful, because if they want to get married because they feel incomplete, the girl feels I'm incomplete, and the husband and the future husband think, oh, I'm incomplete, then they'll not complete each other. They'll just be two incompletes. So they will be even more miserable, because now you have your incompleteness and her incompleteness to deal with. So obviously, it may not be the sense of complete in the sense Atmarama, completely satisfied, completely realized, completely Brahmabhuta, but at least it should be together, right? You should be kind of together. Now, you should be, obviously, you need companionship, so that aspect you need, but not that you feel, oh, I'm a disaster, but my wife will fix me, or oh, I'm depressed, my husband will fix me. No, that doesn't work.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think this may be the end of the class for today. And it is an honor to have you beginning the week with us. And dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves. And we all, with one voice, one heart, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to our revered speaker, His Grace KAUNTEya Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mancha Kautaya Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to Grace KAUNTEya Prabhu ki Jai. All glories to Krishna Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to Samad Vaishnava devotees ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare